Be very careful when you're looking at wrist angles and how you're going about changing them, because the wrist angles have a direct reflection on where the face angle is. So any wrist angle change that you make must influence the face for the better, not just make the golfer look what would be called just prettier. So what we can have a very, very strong left hand grip, which we see many of those on tour. You can be very, very cupped at the top, but the face of the golf club actually be quite strong. Likewise, you could have a very weak grip and then have a flexed left wrist at the top, hence a closed face. So there's all manner of different face angles. If you're going to change your wrist angles, it must have a positive influence on where the face is pointing. So even if someone is a little bit cupped at the top, we don't necessarily want to change that unless it's actually influencing for the better what this face angle is doing. Easy way to see that. From the top of the swing, instead of looking at the wrist initially, look at where the face is pointing. Ideally, we'd have somewhere near a 45-degree angle. To the sky would be very closed, toe down would be very open, so somewhere in the middle. Now, what we don't want to see in transition is the sweet spot of the golf club disappearing too quickly, because then down at the golf ball, it's going to be very, very difficult to organise the face. A lot of closure rate will be needed. What we want to try and do in transition is try and keep that face, the sweet spot visible into the transition, so then we know the face angle or the sweet spot is in position. From here, the club shaft can shallow and we can turn, make a good pivot without having to do funky movements down at the golf ball to square the club face.